All right, here we are back at the shop. I just got back from a PRS match, Gravestone. I'm going to take these rounds that I just shot and I'm going to try to film the entire process of what I do, start to finish, just for information purposes, I guess. There are probably other people that do it better than I do, which is great. If you do, please comment down below. Tell me what you do differently. As I start out, here are all my rounds. They kind of came loose here. I'm going to flip it over. This is all Hornady brass, 6.5 Creedmoor. Hopefully I didn't lose too many at the match. I hope to get close to 100 back. I think I missed a few here and there. Try to do better in the future. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take cleaner here, little tumbler, and it looks like I dumped the media after the last batch, so let me find some media real quick. What did I do with that box? All right, new box of media here. Let's open this up. Sorry for the delay. I should have been a little bit better prepared. All right. Tell you what I'm going to do. I normally put the media in first. I'm going to go ahead and dump the brass in today. Side. And I'm going to fill the media, just covering it up. Try not to make a mess here. There we go. That way I don't use all the media at one time. And get my zip tie here. And back up here. All right, put the media back out of the way. All right. So I just put enough media to basically cover up the brass, not even cover it up that much. I'm not real worried about getting these real clean. Just kind of clean them a little bit. Probably really don't even need to be clean. I've actually done this without the cleaning process. Just skip this whole step altogether. If the brass really not too dirty afterwards. And I'm going to start it up and come back in 30 minutes, see what it looks like. If I need more, don't normally need more than that. If I need more, then I'll go more at that time. So here we go. All right, let's check it and see what we got here. Not looking for them to be extremely clean. Kind of dirt off a little bit. Yeah. Not bad, not bad. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and fill it up a little bit more. and let it run a little bit more. So here we go. Eventually I'll have more brass in here. I've run a lot more than 100 rounds of brass through here at a time, but normally after a match, if it's a 2-day match, then yeah, I'll put close to 200 in there, and then this will hold it. And I'm not trying to get them super clean. I'm just trying to do a little bit. If I do it at all, like I said earlier, sometimes I just skip it a little bit. It's only been about 15 minutes, so I'll come back in 30 minutes. Just wanted to check and get a little update here. So here we go, start it back up. Alright, let's check and see what we're looking at here. I don't expect these to be real shiny or anything. I just wanted to clean them up a little bit. There we go. Not bad. Good enough for me. Just kind of clean the outsides of them. If you really want them shiny, get some of this. Just get this at Walmart or anywhere, really. Put a little dab in there, not even a cap full, just a little bit, and it'll really make your brass shiny if that's what you're looking for. That's not really what I'm looking for here. I'm just looking to clean it up a little bit. This brass has probably had 6, I'm going to guess 6, maybe 7 firings on it. So it's not in the greatest condition, but it's, for what I do, it's working just fine. All right, well, let's show you what I do to clean it up here a little bit. So this is just out of an old refrigerator. It just an old bin down there. Use what you can. Some people get fancy stuff. This is just probably $1. When I bought it, it was probably just $1 at the dollar store. Strainer, big holes. You can get some with the smaller holes. They don't work so well. And I just set it just like that. And I will take this and I will just dump it in. Try not to make too much of a mess. Try not to lose too much. I'll do that right there. Set that aside. And then plug that. I'll take it. This media is a little bit finer than what I have used in the past. Is okay. It's the first time using this. We'll go with it. Looks like it's got a little dust on there, but it'll be all right when we shake it all out. So I do that. Let me get my coffee can here. Drink a lot of coffee, so here we go. Here's my trusty old coffee can, and this is what I do. I just do it by hand. Just take them and dump them out here. Several at a time. Yeah, these have got a little, This new media has kind of left kind of a film on it, but that's all right. I can wipe it off as I get to setting up things for sizing and so forth. We're just going to get the media out of it right now. I know many of you will say, well, hey, my cases are a lot brighter than that. Yeah, I'm not really looking for that. This is just a quick, like I said, I checked it about 15 minutes. Was going to pull them off then, but then went on to 30 minutes. Like I said, if you want them bright, I can get these bright and shiny like new brass using the new finish that I showed you a few minutes ago, but that's not really necessary. And for what I'm doing, I don't need them to look nice and bright. All right, once you get down here a little bit, shake it a little bit more. I know there's some fancy machines out there where you can tumble and do all this fancy stuff, get the media out. I guess what I'm showing you is that you don't have to spend a ton of money to do this. Everything I do is on a budget, so if you want to help me out, get this YouTube channel, then maybe I can buy some more expensive equipment. I think somebody on another video commented on some of what I'm using, and that's okay. Some people are able to purchase the really nice expensive stuff. And yes, that nice expensive stuff does do better in most cases. Otherwise, they would not be able to sell it for the higher price. But some of these things, like simple stuff, leftover refrigerator bin from an old refrigerator, a dollar strainer from the dollar store, this old Midway tumbler, I've been using it for a long time. I don't know if they still make it. I guess they do. I guess I could check and see. I really have no idea. It's so old. But it works great, does what I need it to do, and I'm used to doing this by hand anyway, so it works out all right. Yep, looks like I picked up somebody was shooting a 223. Throw this in another one over here. There's my 223 range brass over there. All right. Guess I could have counted this as I was pulling it out, but find out soon enough. This is a lot finer than what I've used in the past. So it's leaving my hands quite dusty here. I could have put some gloves on, but I didn't. All right, so then I take this, dump that there, move my brass out of the way. I switch spots. And I reuse this media quite a bit. So this is a new batch, but the batch before that I used many times before replacing it. So I just put it right back in here. Try not to lose too much. Try not to make a mess in the shop here. If I do, I'll just vacuum it up. But you're doing all right here. dump it all out there. Put this back over here out of the way. All right. Okay, put this back on. And my cleaning process, what I do, if you do something different, comment down below, tell me what you do. Maybe I'll start doing that. If you find an easier way, faster way, whatever you want to comment, let me know down below. If you think I'm doing it wrong, you let me know. This is what I've done for years. So there you go. There's some on the brass. Next step, I will decap these. So be a few minutes and I'll set that up and get back with you. All right, move the camera here. I'm gonna try a little bit different angle here. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. You let me know down in the comments below whether this is a good angle or not. And we'll go from there. Let me get my decapping die out here. This is not in very good shape. You can look and see, but it does what I need it to do. I will just screw that right in there. This is a universal decapping die. Lee, I think. Yep, Lee Precision. Let me put my primer catcher there. And let me get another container. This one is sugar. All right, so we'll go from one container to the other. Let's just sit down and have at it. I'm gonna turn this to the side a little bit, let them fall out. And I'm just gonna go quickly and decap them. I like to do this separately. I know that you can do this all size, decap, all that good stuff in one shot. I just like to do this separately. Sometimes I do this before I throw them in the bin there. If I have go to the range and I shoot a lot of different things, for example, you've seen me with the 250 Savage, a 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, different things as such. I can just clean it all in one big thing, and then I can decap it, or I can do it in the opposite order, decap it and then clean it with this universal die, and then I can sort it after that. But you do you, and I'll just show you what I do. May be a little bit faster processes out there, I know, but this is what I like to do. Kind of relaxing sometimes for me to sit out here and just do this kind of monotonous work here, but that's all right. I like getting away from things. Normally I'm not talking on a camera. I've got my TV over there that you can probably see in the background of some of the video, that I will sit and watch TV. I don't know, whatever fancies me at the time, I guess. TV show or a movie or news or just whatever. I like this. While I'm doing this, I'm also feeling to see how the primer comes out. I'm just kind of checking to see if the primer pockets are still fairly tight. I haven't seen any or felt any yet that that one right there felt loose. Okay, so that one felt loose, that primer came out real easy. I'm going to take this piece of brass and I'll throw it away. And that happens after, like I said, I think this is 6 firings on this. So it's going to happen at some point, especially with this Hornady brass. I know some other brasses, you know, Alpha or Lapua or whatever else, the expensive stuff, probably will last longer and do better. But at this point, I'm simply reloading this brass, hoping the brass will hold out. I've got about 300 rounds of this brass, so I can cycle it through. But I'm trying to just use this brass up as I use up the barrel that's on my PRS rifle right now, which is an Aero Precision barrel. And I think I'll do a video on that too, maybe after I get done with this. Talk to you a little bit about the rifle itself and the build. I bought all the components and put it together myself. Nice thing about pre-fits with the Aero Solus action, which I really like. I'll talk to you more about that in that video. But you know, it's pretty nice, low cost, budget setup. I don't want to say that it's cheap, because Aero Precision products to me are some of the best products for the money you can buy. If you agree, let me know down below in the comments. If you don't agree, let me know. If you're frustrated, okay, so there was another one right there. Primer came out real easy. I almost didn't even need any pressure. I'm going to throw that one away. What was I talking about? Aero Precision. So if you like Aero Precision products, let me know. If you don't, go ahead and let me know that too. If you're frustrated with customer service or the way that Aero Precision has let their customer service go, another one right there. Primer practically fell out of that one without any pressure. Aero Precision has kind of let their customer service go recently. I'm very hesitant to purchase anything directly from them. This action that I bought, it was a blim, so to speak, but it was I want to say maybe 600, 650. I really don't remember. It was a good deal, but I want to say it took about 3 months to get here, and then Aero Precision sent it to the wrong FFL. They sent it to the one across town, not the one close to me. They're both pawn shops, but they do have different names, and they did not send it to the one that I put down I needed it sent to. An issue that I still haven't had resolved from Aero Precision, though I've sent numerous emails and tried to sit in their online queue, which, if you've ever done that, that's like watching paint dry, beating your head against the wall. And then when you get close, you get kicked out. So then you got to start all over. But anyway, enough rant about that. They actually have great products. I love their products. I hope that they get figured out, the customer service and whatever the issue is that's going on there. I hope they get that figured out. But getting towards the end here, I don't know how many I've actually got. This is probably going to be, I'm going to guess, about 90 rounds. I think I lost a few, and then you've seen me toss a few out for primer pockets being very loose. So I have not lost any primers in the gun, so that one's loose there. Toss that one out. But I'm shooting a pretty low pressure load, and you've probably seen videos on that. If not, go look them up, where I compare Arrow Match and Burger bullets, 105 Burgers and 105 Arrow Match, using 35 grains of Varget. I know people are going to comment on here, you can't use Varget in 6 Creedmoor. Well, I'm using it. 35 grains gives me about 2950 out of this 26-inch barrel. It shoots lights out when I do my part and I have a good day. So I'm not missing because of the load or the firearm. It would be me as a shooter. All right, so got that done. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and clean this up here. Dump this in the trash behind you where you can't see. All right. And we'll be back a little bit later with the next bit of the process, which will be sizing the brass. Now let me put this back here, and we'll be back shortly. All right. I think I've got everything sitting close here. Let's go ahead and size this brass up. I'm using a Hornady custom grade dies. Not the lowest costs, but fairly economical. So this does not have a decapping pin in it. It does work the neck. So if you're looking at that saying, why are you decapping it again? Well, I'm not. It just appears that way. I guess I could have shown you the inside of the die there. All right, down to the lock ring. Feel a little cam over action. Works good for me. All right, so I'm gonna pour a little bit in here. Take my one shot, kind of spray it around. Put it in there. Give it another couple shots. All right. And I'm going to use the coffee can there. And let me make sure that I'm still working here. Hopefully this is a good angle. I really haven't checked to look to see. But let's go ahead and give it through. All right. Looks like gonna be okay there. All right, let's just run through it. All right. Looks like I may need to clean this die up. And the reason I say that, I don't know if you can see it, but you see the little ridges around there? That is probably due to lube buildup or whatever else dirty in there. So, just toss them back in there. I'll come back in a little bit. I'm gonna clean this up just to show you what I'm talking about here. See this gunk and all this buildup? See, everybody makes mistakes, and I think that I did not clean that up before I put it back in the box and let it sit for a while, and need to clean that out. I don't know if you can see into there, but that's kind of dirty as well. So clean your dies as well as your gun, and we will get this done and be back shortly. I don't know how long this will take. Sorry about that. Forgot to turn the video back on, but got it cleaned back up. And it's been a while, so I'm just going to spray this again. Doesn't feel like I really needed to do that, but go with it. All right, we're in good shape now. So we'll just run through these. The nice thing about 6 Creedmoor is it doesn't really need to be trimmed often like some other cartridges. 243 in particular, seems like every time I shoot it I have to trim it. 308 is not as bad, but I have to trim the brass sometimes. I'm not trimming this brass, you'll notice, but I am kind of looking at the lip and looking at different things that just came to mind. That's why I mentioned it. I will not be doing that in this process. Most of these are sizing fairly easily. Like I said, it is not a high pressure load that I'm shooting in the rifle that I'm using. So I'm hoping that help with this brass life as well as the life of the barrel. The barrel, I'm going to guess, has somewhere around 1,500, 1,600 rounds on it, and it's still shooting well. The barrel was a product overrun for Aero Precision, and it was $200, and it is shooting very good for a $200 barrel. And that's the pre-fit. That's everything. With chamber, I mean, it's coming to it. So that was a heck of a deal. That's one thing about Aero Precision is that you can get some good deals. And you used to, when it said it was in stock, it was in stock and it would ship immediately. I've been using them for many years. Built many ARs using Aero Precision products, which like I said earlier, I really like. But now the barrel took 3 weeks to come, and like I said, the action was, I want to say it was 3 months, maybe. Is that what I said earlier? I think that's what it ended up being. Something ridiculous like that. And one was a blend product, which should have been in stock, so to speak, because it should have been looked at and said, oh, this is a blend. So we're going to put it in the blend pile and sell it cheap. The product overrun barrel, if it was a product overrun, it should have been sitting on the shelf. They should have been able to pick it up and ship it out immediately. But for whatever reason, it started back this past summer. I want to say it was before Black Friday even, that I started to run into issues So I don't know what happened with the management there. I don't know if it's moving into their new facility. I don't know if it's because of all the crazy gun laws up there in Washington State is causing problems with their business. I really don't know. Heck, they need to move on down south here. We'll be happy to take you here. But they probably won't do that because of the brand new facility they have built, which I've seen on YouTube videos from different places. Looks like a fairly impressive video. I mean, not a fairly impressive video, but a fairly impressive setup they have, new facility. So hopefully they get their act together when it comes to customer service, because I have money burning a hole in my wallet that I would like to spend with them, but I will not do so until they get their act together. Whoa, that one's a little bit tighter. Let's see if there's any issues with that. No, right. Oh. Like I said, this is after the match that I shot over in Gravestone in Lippin. Great match over there. I love going over there. Great people who run it. They have a great match. Been to pro match and several regional matches over there. I really like the setup. I really like the location. It was not very fun to shoot this past weekend, though. The wind was blowing rather hard. Was gusting, as all the storms that are blowing through all over the United States at this past weekend, which had many tornadoes all over the country. I hope everybody recovers. It's a sad thing to see when tornadoes go through a community, but that's all these high winds that have been coming through from these storms. That's what we were trying to shoot in the other day, and it was fun to be out shooting. Any day shooting is better than working, but it could have been easier, could have been more enjoyable. It was great. It was great. I had shot with some good guys. It's always good to get out and shoot, meet new people, see what other people are shooting, see what other people are doing. So it was a lot of fun. And if you ever get a chance, check out Gravestone. Go over there, check it out. They have a great facility, and they put on a great match. So, let's see, I got two more, and we'll be moving on to the next thing. All right. Okay, we'll be taking that out. And we'll be moving on to priming. I use a hand primer, so let me put all this stuff back up. And then I will get the hand primer out, get the primers, and we'll come back and join you and show you how we do it in just a minute. All right, back to it. I think I've got everything here. I had to go get me some more coffee. I am a huge Razorback fan, so there's my red. You've probably seen I wear a lot of Razorback clothes, so forth. All right, let's see here. Take my primers out here. Once I open these up, I put them in these Ziploc bags. You never know what's going to happen. I've had them go all over the place before. Hopefully you haven't, but who knows. I'm going to take it right here, set it. I'm just going to flip it over. And there are all my primers. Throw that. Actually, I'm going to put this over here out of the way, so I'll throw it away. I think I'll use all these primers up. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's give it a good shake. Flip them all over. Got two right here that are not cooperating, so I'll do that by hand. All right. Move that out of the gate there. This is RCBS, just hand sizer. Came with my press. I guess this is the Rock Chucker press. Got it a while ago. If you're just starting out, I would say that's probably one of the best ones to start out on. I know that there are probably other presses that do things better, but I really like this one. I've stuck with this one for a long time. Many years ago, I had a Lee progressive press, which was fine, but I was shooting a lot of 9mm and at that point, so it was kind of a different setup. I think this works a lot better for more precision loading. Yes, it takes a little bit more time, but it works really great. And I know you can buy some more expensive stuff. Tell me what you have. Tell me what you're loading on. Right down there in the comments. Are y'all using this same Rock Chucker, or are you using something else from RCBS? Are you using some Lee products? All right, so I just put it in there, nice and easy. Primer, and then I'm going to throw it in there. I'll talk to you a little bit while I do this. This gets a little bit boring if you're just going to sit here and watch me. But tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you're using. Are you using a Forester press? I thought that looks pretty interesting to me, the coax. There are some other things out there that look very nice. Different types of presses. This is just obviously just a single stage here, but some multi-stage presses and then some progressive presses. Maybe one of these days I would like to possibly move to doing all my brass prep. Basically what you're seeing me do right here, the first part of this video, on a progressive press of some type, and then hand loading the powder and the bullet on this single press RCBS here, this Rock Chucker. If anyone's doing that, tell me what your setup is. Tell me what you're doing. Are you using a Dillon? Are you using something else to kind of speed up your brass prep? I don't want to load completely powder and bullet on a progressive, not for these match loads anyway. I want to do that by hand. That way I can watch and make sure that things are as consistent as possible. Using the equipment that I have, I know that there are probably better equipment out there, in particularly powder chargers, which you'll probably see, which you will see later in this video, compared to what I use. But like I said, everything I do is on a budget. So if anybody's got some good budget options, tell me down below what you are using, what you have used. If you are using a higher cost one, maybe one of the new RCBS powder chargers that seem to be very nice, and they probably are able to be more precise in their load when they drop powder and trickle it in. But anyway, just a break here while I'm doing this. These are Fiocchi large rifle primers. Get these locally in my local store. Thank you down there for them. These are fairly low cost budget and they seem to work fine. If y'all are wondering what primers I'm using, this of course is Hornady brass. And what I did is originally I purchased Hornady black 105 boat tail hollow points. I think I purchased 100 of those, and I think I purchased 100 of the ELDM match. I think it was 108. Shake it around a little bit to get it to feed down here. And sometimes it gets a little caught up there, so let's do this. Let's check and see what that issue might be. Sometimes that primer, there it is right there. All right, so let's do it. Shake them back down there. Problem solved. It happens every once in a while when you get to going too fast. You don't want to go too fast. You want to make sure you know what you're doing. What I'm doing here is I'm pressing it in, and then I'm feeling with my thumb on the bottom here. The reason I say that is because I have one somewhere. Well, anyway, I'll do one here. So if I press it a little bit and I pull it out, and you can kind of see how that primer is not in there. It's not seated well. I know I need to get it back in there and get a good seat on it. So I'm checking it every time I pull it out of there. So put it in, squeeze it, and put it out. As you can tell, I'm left-handed. This is actually made for a right-hander. I think you're actually supposed to do it this way. So I have to overcome and adapt sometimes. I shoot right-handed, but everything else I do left-handed. So if you're looking at me thinking, man, he's doing that rather awkward. So I squeeze, pull, use both hands, take it off, feel, and chunk it. I may look like I'm doing it a little awkward, but this is what I do. Kind of got in a rhythm and a habit of doing it. So everybody kind of does it differently. And depending on how fast you want to go, just make sure that you're checking everything, that you're seating them properly. Sometimes you might get some media stuck in the primer pocket and it causes problems. Then you have to address that issue. So always check after you prime here and go. Is anybody else out there shooting PRS? Comment down below. Tell me what you're shooting, what caliber, what cartridge. I think I'm going to end up going with a 6-dasher after this next barrel, or after this Creedmoor barrel goes. I think I'm going to stick with the Solus Action though. I really like it. When I first got it, it was not the smoothest thing, but it's pretty nice now. It's for the cost, for sure. It's one of the best things out on the market. And I guess I can talk more about that in the rifle video. But tell me what action you're using. I see a lot of impact actions out there. I've shot a few impact actions, and they are very nice. I just don't know if I'm ready to spend that kind of money on an action. I think I need to be a better shooter before I start stepping up to that. If you'll notice what I'm using here, the brass, the primers are not your typical probably PRS, what people would use. People would use probably Lapua, nice brass, alpha brass, which I will probably move into with the next barrel. I have used for bullets, I have used 112 match burners from Barnes, which are a lower cost option, and they shoot really well for me. Actually, I think when I load these up, I think that's what I'm going to load these up with. I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I've used obviously the staple PRS bullet, for 6mm, the Burger 105. I use Varget powder. I use H4350, as you can probably tell from some of my other videos. In place of the Burger 105s, at one point I couldn't get them, so I got me some Aero Match 105s. Using the same load data, it really had same point of impact, same thing. I used the same load data, so when Hornady says they're a replacement or a direct replacement for that, I would say that they're pretty much right on. If you haven't seen that video, go look at that video. It's not scientific by any means, but it's kind of a comparison of what they look like. I mean, they look like exactly the same bullet. I will say that if I were to get down and measure things, the Burgers are probably more consistent. And I think I've mentioned in that video that the Burgers were also seated a little bit easier. So for whatever reason that may have been, I don't know. All right, so I've got some primers left over. This is the way I do it. I know it's got holes here, but this is what I'll do. Is I'll set them to one side. I'll just flip it over like so. And then I'll just kind of rub my finger over and let it fall into the slots. Try to keep them from going everywhere. I'm sure that there are other ways to do this. Maybe even better ways. I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know. But this is what I do to try to keep from making a mess. I'm going to put that back in the box. Put this back in my Ziploc bag so that if for whatever reason, I don't know if you've ever dropped them before, but they're in this Ziploc bag, it's going to stay in the bag and not go all over the floor. All right. So I did that. Primed them up. Now give me a few minutes to figure out what I want to load up. I don't know if I want to load up some more Burgers or some more match burners. I don't know. I'll get back to you in just a minute and let you know what we're doing. All right, let's see if I can set up this bench. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and load up some 105 Burgers. And what I put together, this is what I put together earlier. This is what I have loaded. I don't know, I've had these loaded. When I do them, I normally do them all at one time. This is just what I shot at the last match. So I'm going to take these. First thing I'm going to do is, I guess, go ahead and do that. Actually, while I'm doing that, so I'm going to, basically what I'm saying is that this is less than 100 rounds, so I'm going to use these. And then I'm going to fill in for that. And then later today, after I shut the video off, I will probably load up some other stuff to do some testing with. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and load up some Burger 105s. I'm going to use the Varget. I'm going to use 35 grains. So let's do this first. Let's go ahead and get this rolling. Kind of multitask, so to speak. I'm going to start out here. Move this over maybe so you can see it there. I don't know if you can see it there or not. Trying to get everything in the camera here is not the best for me. All right, let's try that. Normally I spread out a little bit more, but I'm trying to get this on camera for you. So I'll move that back in a minute if I need it. I'll try not to cover everything up so much in a minute. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this on and I'm going to recalibrate it. I'm just going to run it. And check it out here. You probably don't need to do this every time. I don't know. I'm just in the habit of doing it, so I do it. It says I pass. All right, we're good. We're good. Make sure that the spout over here is not open so that you don't dump the powder in and it immediately run out. I've actually done that before. I will admit my mistakes, so hopefully you don't do it in the future. Put my tray on there. Zero it out here. I don't know what's going on there. Is it not level? It's pretty stable there. All right. So I'm going to do that. Go ahead and put my powder in here. Varget. Holy smokes. Look, that's what I paid the last bit of Varget. I don't know, y'all see. I don't know. Some of y'all may have paid more than that. I've paid a lot less than that in the past. Powder is getting expensive. But I use Varget. Varget works the best for me. It's most consistent for me. In this particular load anyway. So that's what I'm going to use. Move that out of the way. I'm going to set this to calibrating. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and set up a little bit of workflow here. Let's see here. All right, let me get the dies back out. I don't know if you can see all the way over to the press or not. Don't crimp any of this. So set it up. I think it's in frame. I hope it is. We'll see. Normally what I do is I'll go ahead and set up this. This plate right here. Got this off the prize table at actually at the gravestone match, the pro match a while back. I was on down the list. I was definitely not at the top of the list, but I was able to pick this up off the prize table, and I will tell you, it's actually really nice. I mean, it is sturdy. I mean, it holds them in there good. This is a whatever these sell these for, I don't know. Area 419, go look it up. Go check them out. But it's, whatever it is, it's worth it. It's, uh-oh, here with my lights. All right. Sometimes that happens, so let's take a break. We'll get the lights back on, and then we'll continue. All right, sorry about that little interruption there. Let's get back to it. I filled up 50 rounds here. I think I've got my workflow set up. Powder's calibrated. Start that over. This is Franklin Arsenal. I don't remember what I paid for this, but it's on the lower cost end of things. I think it does a really good job for the cost that it was. I know that there are probably better ones out there that can measure down to the kernel. This one obviously cannot. Sometimes I would even question whether it's a tenth of a grain if it's down there. So, but nevertheless, it is what I have. And like I said earlier, I don't miss at PRS matches because of the load, the bullets, the rifle. I miss because of my shooting ability at this point. So if I ever get to the point where my shooting is right on, spot on, then I will possibly look at upgrading some of this. But like I said, I don't miss because of the equipment I'm using or the loads or the rifle. I miss because of my shooting ability. So once I get to be a better shooter and get to the point where I need to really focus in on maybe getting some more high-end equipment, then I'll do that. But this works great for what I'm doing. As you'll see, or as you may have seen in other videos, this is definitely produces ammo that is sub MOA and half MOA in many cases. So as we go, let's get started. Let's go ahead and zero this out. I'm going to type in, I'm using 35 grains of Varget. I'm going to put this to auto mode so that as soon as I put the scale back on, it will go from there. All right, I'm just kind of looking to make sure my workflow is kind of set up. Move my, here, let's go ahead and start with the first load and see how it goes. All right. I just use the powder funnel that comes with the RCBS. Take it, dump it, let it start, take it immediately, check the powder. I just dumped it, so I should know it's there. Take my bullet, go ahead and seat it. I always check these first few to make sure that I don't need to adjust anything. But this is 2.803 and I want to load them to 2.8. That is the cartridge overall length that has been working for me. And yes, if you shake it, it does sound like a pepper shaker. It's definitely not 100% case fill. I don't know what it is. Maybe 80% case fill. That's a guess. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But it still shoots very well. So again, next one. Sometimes this happens over here where it won't zero out for whatever reason. So I'll cancel it. Like I said, there's probably some better equipment out there. But for the most part, this does a great job. Let's zero it out. Hopefully it won't be finicky today. 35 grains, and let's start this thing again. All right, double check. I got powder in here. Anytime you have to stop the process, step back a couple of steps, make sure you got everything going. These are 105 burgers. I don't know if you can read it from there. Hybrid targets. I think these are probably some of the best bullets on the market. I also have some 109s that I have not loaded up. So I'm going to measure that one here in just a second here, but I'm going to go ahead and dump this powder so that it can start on the next one. If it doesn't flow down, I'm going to tap it a little bit to get it to go down there. I would show you the case fill on these, but you really can't see into there. You have to kind of hold it, but it's not up to the shoulder. So put a bullet in this one, and I'll measure these two at the same time. All right, and we'll pick up our pace on our workflow a little bit here. All right, so what I normally do is I'll fill a case, go ahead and move it to the next one so that I know that I filled that case. This is the one that needs to be filled next. That way I can multitask without getting sidetracked. It's good. Very consistent. It's good. Turn my calipers off. Turn my workflow here. Dump. Powder flow. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move it so I know that I'm on this one. These two are filled. I will double check it before I put a bullet in there, but that allows me to multitask. I normally go ahead and put some things away to get it off the bench, out of the way, so that I'm not working with too much in one spot. All right. Again, it filled up 35. All right. I think giving credit where credit is due, I think I heard about this load I think it's Eagle Eye Shooting YouTube channel. Check him out. I like watching his stuff. I don't know if he's ever seen my stuff, but maybe if he does, then he can comment on here. I have sent him an email or two asking him some questions, and he has been kind enough to reply and answer my questions. I greatly appreciate that. But anyway, he talked about very briefly a load of this 35 grains over 105 burger. Since I was talking there, I double checked to make sure. I always double check. I always shake it sometimes. I can hear the powder in there. I know it's in there. But anyway, back to it. Eagle Eye Shooting is where I heard of this load. I obviously did not immediately just load it up. I started down lower and worked up to it. This load in the summer months gives me about 2950 feet per second. In the winter months, it is less than that. I want to say 2880 or so. For whatever reason, just being cold. And, you know, I've heard that Varget is not temperature sensitive, but my experience is that it is. The first few matches of the year, I actually readjusted my Kestrel to 2850 in order to be right on with the load. For whatever reason, the velocity dropped. Maybe the barrel's wearing out. I don't know. But this last match, as the weather was warmed up it was back to 29.50 back at Gravestone, the last match I was at. So, and it shot really good. So I say that when I shot my 5 rounds just to double check on the 0 target range, and they were all in one hole, so I'm not going to complain about that at all. So I believe the rifle was shooting just fine. Didn't have a good day because my weakness is wind calls, which is something that I need to work on, which probably that's one of the biggest keys to PRS shooting. I'm going to let this trickle a little bit, and then if it doesn't, sometimes it hangs up right here on, there it goes, 30, 39. So what I'll do is I just tap this, and then it'll get steady. It drops one more grain in there, and it gives me a steady 35 grains. So, lost my train of thought there because I was paying more attention to the reloading than what I was talking about, but as it should be. But anyway, this is a really good load. I like this load. It shoots very well for me. I will probably move to a dasher after this barrel, but that's simply because I can run the same velocity with the same bullets at the same velocity with less powder. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't know if it will really make things cheaper. Everybody says, oh, you need to start reloading because it's cheaper than buying factory ammunition. Well, that's true, but in my experience, I just shoot twice as much. So the cost doesn't change any to me. It's just I'm able to get more trigger pulls for the same price that I would have spent on factory ammunition. So that is the benefit of reloading. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's cheaper, especially when you start buying some of these high-end bullets, which the burgers are, and they're definitely worth it. So anybody else out there shooting a 6 Creed? If you are, tell me what you're loading up. What are you using? Are you using Varget? Are you using 4350, H4350? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you shooting it for hunting? Are you shooting it for PRS competition? Obviously, two different goals there. If I were shooting 6 Creed for hunting, I would probably load it up a little bit higher, a little bit faster. There is a local 1,000-yard match coming up this next weekend, so I will probably load up some match burners and probably run those a bit faster up towards the max, just because that's a different application. I don't know, maybe not. These are so... Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I'm watching what's happening here with the scale. These are so precise that maybe I'll just shoot these. I don't know. We'll figure that out when the time comes. I know that I am going to experiment at pushing the 112 match burners a little bit faster than what I've shot them in the past. I have shot the 112 match burners with H4350, 39.5 grains, and that gives me about 3950 feet per second with the 112 match burner. So, and that is definitely not a max load. I have loaded hotter than that before. So I'm going to do some experimenting and see if I can push it a little bit faster. Maybe see what the ballistic looks like. It's, when it comes down to it, it's just 1/10 of a mil on your scope when you dial it, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I just like to experiment sometimes and see how things go. Again, it's right there at 34.9. I'll tap it, goes to 35, and I know that that's not very scientific, that's probably not very accurate, but that's what I do. You're watching this to see what I do anyway. If you do it differently, please comment down below. Tell me what you do. I like to hear what other people do. Maybe it'll help me adjust what I do. Once I get a little workflow going here, you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'll probably stop talking here in a minute because this is the lengthiest part of the process, and I could sit here and talk the whole time, but it could take me an hour, and I know you don't want to watch an hour's worth of video, so it doesn't do me a whole lot of good to talk when you're just going to fast forward it through. Anyway, I might actually speed up the camera a little bit for you as well. This is going to end up being a long video anyway, but I appreciate it if you made it this far. I appreciate it that you've hung around and watched this far. I'm going to keep reloading and probably not talk a whole lot. You want a close-up of it. Some people ask, where do I load them? Well, sorry, looking at the scale here again. All right, get it to 35. Oh, a little bit under. Little tap. See if it'll stay there. Nope. Let's get another grain. All right. Some people will ask what I load these at. Let me put this one so that I don't lose track of what I'm doing. But what I do is I normally take, see if I can show you on camera without moving all this. I will take the base of the neck right here where the shoulder starts, and I want to put the bearing surface, you can kind of see that little where the boat tail starts to stop. I want to put that above that surface there. So if you'll look and see, I'll try to hold it still, try to give you a decent look at it to see where it's loading into the case. I know somebody's going to ask, so that's a close approximation to what we've got going there of where I'm loading it. That's why I ended up at 2.8. Somebody's probably going to ask, well, why did you end up at 2.8? Did you try to be so far off the lands? Did you try to be 2 thousandths off the lands or 60 thousandths off the lands? No, I just loaded it to right there where I just talked about. And that's normally what I do, and it normally works just fine for me. I load the bottom of the bearing surface right there to the top of the neck so that it doesn't get below the neck. And then I see if it will cycle in the rifle. If it will, then I go and shoot it. And if it shoots okay, then I don't mess with it. These Burger hybrids are actually pretty good. They are not jump sensitive or anything like that, so I don't worry about that much anyway. It looks like my lights went out again. It's a little warm out here, so the lights are heating up. So I'm going to turn the lights off, and at this point, I'm probably going to continue to reload, and then I'll come back in the very end and show you what we ended up with here. I know you don't want to sit with me for an hour while I reload. Okay, we got the lights back. I have been reloading a little bit more, and I'm just finishing up here. I don't know if it's been completely an hour, probably not. I'm going to say about 30 minutes, so it's not taking me as long as I thought it would. But nevertheless, had a little cut in the video there. First to get the lights back on, and then to show you the end of the process as we're finishing up. So I did have to get a few from the previously done or prepared cases, brass, but I'm going to end up with 100 rounds here. And when we get done here, we will put these to the side and we will go shoot some groups with it, so that you can see results from what was actually loaded on the bench here. And I will add that bit of video to the end. If you have any questions or comments on my reloading process or this reloading process, please comment down below. Please always like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button. Help me grow this channel. I'm enjoying doing this. I've been really busy the last few weeks. I think it's been probably 3 weeks since I have put up another video. So once we get to the summertime, I will get back to trying to get a video at least one every 2 weeks. My goal as we hit the summer months is to go ahead and try to get videos once a week. If you have anything in particular you would like to see on a video, please let me know. I did get a comment from someone the other day that they would like to see how I set up my dies for 38 Special 357 reloading, so I'll probably get into that. As you've seen today, I've gone through and I've shown you all of my dies. Now my dies are already set up, so I pretty much just put them in the press. I didn't actually adjust anything, I don't believe, on camera. And you saw every bit of it. I don't think I cut away. All of my dies are pretty much set up. But if I were to do that video for the 38 special, then I would adjust my dies so that they weren't where they were supposed to be, so to speak, and then go back and do that. But anyway, just finished up 100 rounds, Hornady brass, Fiocchi large rifle primers, 105 burgers. This is 35 grains of Varget, and I expect the velocity to be 2950 when we get out to shoot them, because it is getting to the warmer months. It is not a hot load. I can push this a lot hotter. There are absolutely no pressure signs anytime I've loaded this before. I've shot this in several matches before. It normally has very low SDs, or what I'll say is they're normally below 10 standard deviation. Extreme spreads are normally pretty low. We'll see if that holds true. I'll show you all that on camera. If it doesn't, then I'll show you that it didn't this time. But normally they're around 8 standard deviation, 8 feet per second. I don't recall exactly what the extreme spreads are, but it normally shoots really well. So we'll see if it holds true. You just saw the whole reloading process from the brass being dumped into the tumbler all the way through to the finished product. Here it is, 100 rounds. Again, thank you for coming. Have a great day, and God bless the USA.